Hello, and welcome back to London Cycle Routes. Today, I'll be showing you how to cycle from Loughborough Junction in South London to Battersea Power Station. This ride takes about 15 to 20 minutes, and you can do the whole thing on quiet streets and protected cycle lanes. This journey takes a minimum of 40 minutes by public transport, so you're definitely better off cycling it. It's also a really nice ride, enabled by some new low traffic neighbourhoods and also a new cycle lane or two that's been put in the last 6 months. If you enjoy watching this video or you find it useful for your commute, then please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as I try to post new videos just like it every week or so. Alright, let's get going. So we're starting on Loughborough Road just by the bus stop, and we're going to cycle immediately into Wyck Gardens, which is a little path here that goes past that estate on the right. This park is open 24 hours, and as you can see there are street lights on it, so you shouldn't have a problem in the dark. This path is reasonably wide, but it is shared with pedestrians, so make sure you ride courteously if you see anybody coming, and give them a wide berth. That on the left there, the fencing, is actually a riding school, believe it or not, so that's an interesting thing to see in inner London. We come out onto Millbrook Road, which is very quiet because it's just a cul-de-sac that leads to the path, and at the end of here we want to turn left onto Barrington Road. Barrington Road is also reasonably quiet, although it could do with a resurface, but we're only on it for a short period of time before we turn right into Brixton Station Road. And you can see here there's contraflow cycling on here, but it's one way for motor vehicles. Make sure you watch out as you cross this road, look both ways, and take note that there are some nice breweries and other businesses in the arches here that are definitely worth paying a visit to. There's generally not very much traffic on this road because it doesn't really go anywhere and it mostly parallels the main road, but it is used for parking, so often you'll find people driving up and down it looking for parking, and there's obviously people moving stuff to Brixton Market from the storage in the arches. This section of Brixton Station Road is a market, and actually after 8 AM you're not supposed to cycle on here. It is a pedestrian only zone. We're here just before 8 AM, so it is okay, but you might want to dismount. Generally I think people are pretty tolerant and there is space, but just use your brain, and if it looks really busy definitely don't cycle. Now we want to cross Brixton Road, and I'm going to do it just by cycling out here and using the bus lane, and then we're going to turn left. But what you can do, you can also dismount, walk to the pedestrian crossing and simply cross on foot, and then remount your bike here. And we're going down Ferndale Road. This is where we want to be, and you can see it's a nice little spot. This is a low traffic neighbourhood, which is why you're seeing people cycling in it, and this low traffic neighbourhood is actually currently out for consultation, so if you do like what you see here and you like the low levels of traffic, it's definitely worth going on the Lambeth Council website and filling in the form to let them know what you think of it. These no entry signs except for cycles here are actually what keeps the areas so quiet. Now we are going to be picking our way towards Battersea on these quiet streets. You generally won't run into any traffic here. We saw 2 cars there, which is actually pretty unusual. The only motor traffic you'll see here is people accessing homes and businesses within the area, and that's because there's no through route here for motor vehicles. On your right there, that's a great pub, the Marquis of Lawn. It's definitely worth a look. It's got a pool table, it's got a dartboard, generally just a really good pub. You might have noticed that even though we're using quiet back streets, we're actually pretty direct. We haven't really had to make any big turns. One little turn we make here is we go onto Landor Road for a second, which is a slightly busier road, but then we immediately turn off it. It would be nice to have some sort of protective island to help that turn there, actually, particularly going in the other direction, but one doesn't exist. This is another quiet street. This actually isn't in a low traffic neighbourhood, but generally it's generally you won't really run into any traffic on it. You can see that there aren't really any cars using it. I think that's because it's not a particularly useful shortcut for people to take. When we get to the end of this street, we're going to cross Clapham Road, and there are 2 ways you can do it. The first is the way that I do it, which is I wait for a gap in the traffic and I go straight ahead. Or there's also, you can see to the left, a pedestrian crossing, which you can either wait for to give you a gap in the traffic, or you can just get off and go up to it. Then we go through this little shopping parade car park, and unfortunately there's no drop curb here, so you have to dismount just to cycle through this plaza. It would be great to have this bit redone. Maybe there could be a cycle path cutting through to this other road here, because this is a really useful link. And we're going to go around the back of the estates here. This is Surridge Court, and the next one I think is Hayward Court, and again there's not a drop curb there, although the curb is just low enough that you can probably cycle over it. If in doubt though, dismount. This road has been recently resurfaced. It used to be quite bumpy, so it's nice to see a smooth surface here. And there's no traffic on any of these streets because they're just estate roads. They're just for people accessing the estate. We now get dropped onto Jeffreys Road, which is a really nice wide road, and it doesn't really have any traffic on it either. That's in part due to where we're coming up to Larkhall Lane. There's actually a traffic filter on Larkhall Lane, and while there is some through routes here, they're not particularly useful to cars, so we don't tend to see much traffic on here either. It's also nice to see people cycling on it. Now we take the first right into Courland Grove, which is basically another estate road, and at the moment we're running to the left of Larkhall Park, which is another option. You can go through Larkhall Park, but I think going this way makes the roads line up better when we have to cross Wandsworth Road in a second. I'll show you exactly what I mean by that now. But for now, you can be pleased that, yeah, there's plenty of people cycling here, and generally there's not very much traffic. You can wait at the crossing here. You get a sort of signalled crossing, and when it's green, cross the road and go into Thessaly Road. Thessaly Road is actually a mini low traffic neighbourhood, so there's not generally traffic here, but there's also a brand new cycleway, which we're just going onto here. That is a separating curb, separating us from traffic, which is really nice, and there's also sort of plastic curbs and plastic ones further up ahead you can see here. This is really good. It's put in by Wandsworth Council, who aren't the best council for cycling, to be honest, but they've done a good job here. I believe it was put in by with Section 106 cash, which is basically where the developers for Battersea Power Station have to pay for improvements to the local area, and they basically strung a long cycleway all the way to the borough border. It would be really nice to see Lambeth maybe make some of the extend it down the whole of Thessaly Road, and maybe make some other improvements along the route I've just done. Actually, I think you could make this a really nice cycleway. This is the best bit of it, by the way. It used to be really annoying to have to cycle under that railway bridge because the road goes into a dip. But here it's good. The only thing that's interesting is, I mean, Thessaly Road is actually basically a low traffic neighbourhood anyway, because the end of the street here is closed, so there isn't really any through traffic. So as you can see, we weren't separated from very many cars, so there are definitely better places to put a cycleway. But that said, it's still great. When you get to the end of the closure here at Thessaly Road, press the button to trigger the lights, and then you can go across here. And that sign is a little bit of a giveaway of where we are. We're on these cycle tracks, and we're just going to go into the public space here. And yeah, this is how you get to Battersea Power Station. We're outside the brand new tube station here. If you've done this ride on a Sunday and you're in the area, I definitely check out Nine Elms Market, which is just across the road. It's in what is normally called New Covent Garden Market, which is only for wholesale food. But on Sundays, it's just a general market, and it's got all sorts of stuff. You can get sort of cheap clothes and interesting food, stuff like that. Yeah, definitely worth checking out. I find a lot of people who even live in South London don't even know about it. So yeah, worth a look. I think you can probably agree that that was exceptionally quick and exceptionally nice ride, and will save you a lot of time if you have to get the bus all the way there, or if you try and take a train somehow or something like that. It's a really good way to do it. There's a couple of ways it could be improved. I definitely think we need better crossings on some of the main roads, and some of those traffic filters in the estate could be made much more bike friendly, particularly the one leading from the shopping parade. But overall, it's great. If you enjoyed that video, guys, really would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click the bell icon so you're getting the new videos as well. And yeah, thanks very much. I'm going to put a link to the digital map in the description of the video. And cheers, I'll see you again next time. Bye.